The Boston Celtics, they defeated the Dallas Mavericks 4-1 to win the 2024 NBA championship. The Celtics now have the most championships in NBA history with banner number 18, breaking the tie they had with the Lakers at 17. And 17, Dooch is over here in the background shaking his head. Laker fans have been sick all over the nation because of that. And Jaylen Brown was named the MVP for the final. So first and foremost, Tim, I just want to ask you, because you picked the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ken and Eric ain't here. They also picked the Mavericks.
Yeah.
But they green with envy right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, what about Boston's performance surprised you the most with this gentleman's sweep?
Two things. One, their ability to really confuddle and stifle the stars of the Mavs. So coming in from the Western Conference to the finals, dealing with a Minnesota squad whose defense is comparable, we can say, to that what they've kind of would have seen in Boston.
To a certain level.
Right, to an extent, it would have been up there because Minnesota's defense was top 3.
One of the best in the league.
So dealing with a team like that and having their 2 stars really shine against a top-notch defense of that caliber, it kind of surprised me with how badly they really messed with the stars against Boston. Because Kyrie and Luka were the reason why they really ran through Minnesota. Whereas,
I think Kyrie stepped on that leprechaun. Ever since he stepped on that leprechaun,
shit, he had a losing streak of like 18 games against Boston.
Like 13 or something.
It was crazy. But then you have the way that they, even though Luka averaged like 29 a game, the field goal percentage wasn't really that well. You could see different moments throughout the game that he really went. Like I think for the game 5, he ain't hit a 3 into the 3rd or 4th quarter. He was like 1 for 7, 1 for 8 up to that point.
Boston came out in game 5 and was like, this is it.
But that was number 2. The fact that when they got up 3-0, they was like, you know what? Fuck it. Y'all can have game 4. We want to do this shit in Boston. Like, it really felt like they gave them game 4. As badly as they got beat and as shitty as Boston played that game, it was more so like, we don't want to do this shit in Dallas. We'll do this shit at home. Y'all got one. It's still going to be a sweep. It's just, we'll smack you with a glove first and challenge you to a duel. Like a gentleman's sweep, we gave y'all that. It felt like they gave them the game in Dallas.
Now, I will give Dallas some credit for game 4 because one thing that they did differently, starting in game 3, and the Celtics figured it out in game 3 and they came on in game 4 and did it again, is they were running like a one-man zone most of that time. So what they were doing initially, the Celtics had Tatum on the center so that whenever it was a pick and roll situation, like that ain't the switch you want necessarily. So if you want to actually put the Celtics center into the action, you was having like Derrick Jones Jr. doing the screening, and that ain't the same thing. He ain't lively, he ain't Gafford, he ain't that lob threat, he ain't good on the roll like that.
I give him the lob threat, but here's the thing. He's not a lob threat against this particular team because part of what made that lob to the big so successful from Luka and Kyrie was the fact that they could throw that ball so high up. You don't have the same radius of where you can throw the ball up with Jones Jr., especially when you got like Horford and Porzingis back there. Like you got to really throw that mug up. So that's one thing too, and just the strength. But with Tatum doing that, so they started doing the one-man zone with Dallas, where they were like, we're going to ignore the corner. And whoever's closest to that wing, you just kind of show on to, and we're going to ignore that corner, and we're going to try to show some bodies here for them. And Boston, for some reason, just started playing that ISO ball. They wasn't passing the ball. They was taking bad shots. They was turning the ball over. It was just one of them games. You give it to them. I give that one to Dallas. Hey, good game, Dallas. Good game. But that was it. And them being able to take away that lob threat with Gafford, with Lively, is part of why I think Luka and Kyrie also look so bad, because they were forced into a lot of one-on-ones when normally they had an outlet. If it wasn't looking good, here, I'm going to just throw this up. But Boston didn't even give them that outlet most of the time. Like, Boston's defense was on a string. And like I said before, that's part of why I was like, Boston going to win this series. Like, they are just a better team overall. Like, you look at the top 7 players in this series, golly. Wasn't crazy.
You look at the top 7 players in the series, and 5 of them were on Boston.
Yeah.
So,
and Boston is also a team that trots out at least 3 all NBA defensive players. And Tatum, Brown, and Drew. I think White was there last year too, wasn't he?
I would go White, yeah.
Because Drew's...
I mean, Drew and White were who I went to first. I was like, who's the third one you talking about?
But I think it was a year ago, all 3 of them was on the All-NBA plus Drew for defensive teams. So now you're trotting out 4 guys who are all NBA defense, whether that's 1, 2, or 3. Like, they are all top-tier caliber, elite defenders.
I don't remember... Brown ain't never been all defense.
I thought he was.
No, that's something that he wanted. I had to double check. I don't remember him being all defense.
Find out, let me know.
He wasn't. I'm telling you, Brown was never all defense. That's something that he's been saying. I want, and neither has Tatum. I didn't think so.
Really? Yeah. I could have sworn there was a year that both of them was all defense. Was it the first team all off? Was it offense then? Or all NBA?
Nigga, they ain't got no first team offense.
I'm just saying the all NBA, bro, because 3 of them was on there together. I can't be imagining this.
I'm letting you know.
Anywho, they have elite defenders across the board.
They do. And
because of that, it was harder for Dallas to kind of find the openings as opposed to Boston being able to. Dallas didn't sport the same thing. Shit, they don't even have none of them. Not even close, I don't believe. So, hell, having Luka play defense, even try to play defense, was a detriment to Dallas.
That's what I said last week. I was like, Boston just has more mismatches to attack than what Dallas has. Like, it's a lot more difficult for them. So it's a tough matchup for them. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Did they get the finals MVP right with that going to Jaylen Brown?
I feel like it did.
I do too. There are a lot of people who were saying it should have been Tatum.
I feel like it was JB because not only was he, I felt like he was the most consistent, especially on both ends of the floor. Mm-hmm. He had stretches to where Boston, a lot of their runs came with JB going crazy.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Tatum was then closing out the end of quarters or end of halves or something like that. But when they started going on runs, Jaylen Brown was banging on motherfuckers, knocking down threes, making steals, doing the outlet passes, catching lobs, shit like that. Like, it was a lot of Jaylen Brown initiated actions.
Jason Tatum is the first player to lead an NBA champion in playoff scoring, rebounds, and assists and not win the finals MVP since the award existed. And you look at that and you're like, dang, he got hosed. But I don't think he did. Like, it was so close between them where if Tatum would have won it, I would have been like, all right, I think it's Brown, but I get it. And it was Brown. I get people saying like it should have been Tatum, but Brown, to your point, he had the two-way impact. He had big plays on the perimeter defensively and in the interior defensively. Not to mention, it was the third quarter, I believe, of Game 3 when it looked like the leash was slipping for the Celtics. I remember correctly. If it was Game 3, I can't remember the game. I think it was Game 3. And Brown went crazy in that quarter. He had another game, too, where he had just a quarter. Like, it felt like, although Tatum scored more points per game, and I know the last Game 5 definitely changed the averages. Yeah, but Brown had timely, necessary buckets throughout the finals run for this team in addition to the defense. So I feel like they got that right. Shout out to Drew Holiday, who, if he would have played like he did in Game 2 throughout the whole series, it would have been him. It would have been him.
Okay, so correction. I didn't see Tatum or Brown on these.
Yep.
From 2019, you have... So the year 2020-21, there was none. Al Horford actually did have one, though. A little bit ago. But it was Marcus Smart. 2021, they didn't have nobody, but Drew Holiday was on it.
He didn't play for them then.
Right, he played for the Bucks. 21-22, it was Robert Williams. And Marcus Smart. 22-23 was Derek White. That's it.
Right.
And then this year was Derek White, Drew Holiday.
Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I was like. I know too.
Oh, I could have sworn, but yeah.
No, but that's something that Brown has been saying. Brown has been saying, I want more people to recognize me for what I do defensively. Like, he has a goal of being all defense, and if this finals performance should propel him, I think, next year
into the conversation.
Conversation, for sure. What went wrong for Dallas? We kind of talked about it, but where do you think they need to improve? Or is it just as simple as Luka was hurt? You need to,
Because
he got to be more healthy. Kyrie's got to knock down the shots.
I mean, to be fair, they say usually the finals winner is the healthiest team.
I mean, and the Celtics,
they were the healthiest team easily.
They were
by a landslide in every game, in every series they played. Dallas needs a bench. Outside of the bench, they also need consistent role players. When Kyrie and Luka wasn't hitting, like the series before, Gafford had some good games, or White had a game where he was like 4 or 5 or 5 or 6 from 3 or some shit like that.
Who? PJ Washington?
No, Washington had a couple like a game or two the previous series. Jones had a game where he had like 4 or 5 threes. Washington had a game where he had like 4 or 5 threes. Like they all had games where Tim Hardaway had a game. Like
we ain't talking about him.
I get it, but he's a role player who at one point had a game to help them out.
I can't remember not one game that man had in this playoff run.
None of them had a game like that really this finals at all. It was either Luka, Kyrie might have kind of tried to come along with it.
And that was by design. Like, that's how the Celtics wanted it to go. They were trying to cut all that out. They said, all this assist stuff, nope. We know y'all like corner threes. We playing the corners. If y'all want to shoot a 3, it's going to be an above the break 3. Y'all have to shoot from these wings and see if you can make them. We will leave y'all. Go ahead.
Shoot it. They left them in the corner a lot, too. They just was not knocking them down.
Shoot it. Go ahead. We don't believe you. You need more people. I think the Celtics, or not the Celtics, what the Mavericks really need is just another point of attack defender. Someone who can throw out there, and they need shot creation. I thought Jaylen Hardy might have gotten some more minutes just to see if they can, have somebody else to create, but clearly Kidd didn't feel like that was going to be the right move. But I mean, that's a good season for Dallas. Who would have thought? If you would have said at the trade deadline, this team is going to be in the NBA final, people would have been like, what happened? This team? Especially before you saw how they molded as a team after the trade deadline. Like, you would assume going into next season, they got a lot to build on. So Dallas, I know it didn't go the way y'all wanted. It didn't go the way most of the country wanted. Just not everybody wanted the Mavericks to win this, except for people in the greater Boston area and Celtics
and St. Louis.
St. Louis is Boston like that?
Jason Tatum.
So
when I started seeing my family like, come on, boss. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about y'all.
That is.
I'm like, damn, no, not the fam, bro. They all down there. Oh yeah, let's go. Because what a couple statuses I seen. I don't fuck with Boston, but if Tatum wins, St. Louis wins.
That's fair. Fuck. That's fair. I'm not even mad at that because when Looney was winning with the Warriors, it was definitely like
or Poole.
Or exactly. So I definitely feel that. I'm not mad at that. Shout out to St. Louis.
For sure.
Did these finals meet your expectations? Did you enjoy
Hell no. Goddamn snooze fest. Like, the first 2 games that were closer, well, one was a blowout.
Yep.
And one was close.
Yep.
3 was close
at the end.
Ish.
When you thought it was close at halftime, then the third quarter, the Celtics blew it out. And then they started the fourth quarter with the 2 threes, and they was up by like 21. Then we had this crazy comeback to make it close.
But it still lost by like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Right.
That was the foul that wasn't called when he got pushed.
When he got pushed. That was a foul. Luka did a lot of whining. He need to stop that too.
He cries a lot.
He need to stop that too.
I don't know who worse, him or Bron. Good Lord.
Luka might be. Oh.
Exactly. Bron get looked at. He like, ah!
Let us know in the comments who's a bigger whiner, LeBron or Luka. I'm curious to know what y'all think.
But yeah, no. It was
underwhelming. That's how I said it.
You don't want to see a sweep in the finals.
Nah.
Nor a gentleman sweep in the finals. You would like to see at least go 6. A 4-2, 3, like you would like to see that. 7 games is the best scenario because you're like, okay, this is a back and forth.
7 games in particular, if they close.
Yeah. Is the best case scenario to me in the finals because one, not only does it extend the season, but it's really feel like either team has a chance in game 7.
Right.
They won 3, y'all won 3. It's really gonna come down to the best team in this 7. Getting swept, like, damn, y'all really didn't have a shot. Like, damn, bro, what happened? Especially for some blowouts thrown in there. Like, come on, dog. The one L y'all got was them at their home by 30. Well, I think it was 35. Some shit like that.
The one win?
The one win. Well, Boston's one L that they got.
Oh yeah.
Was by 35.
Shell said the finals did not feel like the finals at all.
It felt like a Boston showcase.
Now, for me, I felt overall it was underwhelming. I was into it the first 2 games, but once the Mavericks, halfway through the third game, I said, this ain't gonna be pretty. And then the Mavs had that crazy comeback. It got a little interesting. And then they lost, and I said, "Oh, this is over." Aww. Like at that point, I didn't care too much about what Willie Mays passed away.
Yeah,
dang.
He was 93 though. The man lived a life.
Golly, rest in peace, Willie Mays.
For sure.
Rest in peace, Willie Mays. That's a legend right there. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to transition back to. But the finals.
Shit, the finals was sad. To be fair. This is what we was kind of getting at. Like, it more just so
wasn't. Let me ask you this: what was the best series throughout this entire playoffs to you?
The best series?
Because I think to me, it's probably Minnesota-Denver was the series where I was like, this has been the best. Like,
we thought Minnesota was going to just sweep them, and then Denver came back.
Just this must have just happened. Yeah, the Giants literally just tweeted out that Willie Mays passed away peacefully this afternoon at the age of 93.
He lived a life, my boy.
Shell said ESPN put more into the in-season tournament than what we got at the finals. Come on, brother.
Shit, that was more exciting. Hell.
I mean, because that's a one game off, so that's more of a March Madness type of format. So there's some added excitement built into that, just by how it is.
Teams that you weren't expecting to get there, like the Lakers and the Pacers.
So, I mean, the NBA season has now, the 2023-24 NBA season has officially come to a close. What a year it was. Draymond was choking people.
Again. Just in that shit again.
And we end the NBA playoffs with these prediction records. So this was the Tech File prediction records throughout the playoffs. Tim, myself, and Eric all finished going 11-4 with our playoff predictions. Ken finished 10-5. So
Eric, if he went with his gut, because he said he wanted to win.
That was the hate.
That was the hate.
That was the hate. Because he knew, like I knew, the best team in the series was the Boston Celtics. And I think for the Celtics, just to wrap this up, all year it was like, well, let's see what they do in the playoffs, because they had such a history of choking in the playoffs and just not being able to finish the job.
Giving games away.
That's
what I was expecting, too.
And they showed their maturity of how, like, we have grown from that. And they finally put it together. They put together one of the most dominant NBA seasons that we have seen. So shout out and congratulations.
Congrats.
To the Boston Celtics.
To Drew Holiday.
In particular, if we're calling out individual ones. So Eric said he want to call in. Oh, boy. So I guess to end the show.
You gonna call in sounding like Doc Rivers?
Hello.
A little bit of Doc.
What's up, Doc?
Ah!
Hey, how you doing?
What's good, homie?
What's the take you wanted to get off to close the show for us?
I feel like God knew my spirit, and He was like, "Nah, you got too much hate in your heart."
Ah, we said that.
With COVID. But I'm still getting the shit off. So, like, first of all, like, all season I was like, I'm gonna be happy for Drew regardless of what happens. Like, that'll be kind of my silver lining. But you know what? Fuck that. Like, I'm not happy for it. The moment it happened, I was like, no, I'm still salty. This is some bullshit. So I feel like I went into the finals with this being like a kind of a lose-lose for me, because I don't really like Dallas and I definitely don't like Boston, and I still feel like I got some shit out of it, because like Jason Kidd got exposed, Luka got exposed, Jason Tatum got exposed. Like, I'm still taking my win. So
fair enough.
Jay said, "Cook, eat, cook." This man is sick.
I wish my tag team partner was there for the fuck Boston, but fuck Boston.
I'm sure y'all will be able to get them takes off a little bit next week as well. That's hilarious that you sick and said
he had to call in to get the hate off.
I need to get this off my chest. That's probably why you got congestion, brother. Yeah. That was weighing on your chest. You had to get it out.
It was weighing heavy on your heart. Had to go ahead and let that one go. I hear you.
Jeff said to give into your hate and let the dark side flow, Eric.
We had to call in to get that shit off.
And it's forever Bucks and six. Like, they had such a cupcake ass run to the finals. Like, I'm not like, they won the championship. I ain't gonna take that away from them. But all I'm saying is, like, if they actually ran into a team, like, it would have been a different story. But you know, you can only play who's in front of you.
That is
so
right.
Congratulations with your little title or whatever.
Damn, not the little. That little be so disrespectful.
I swear it do every time.
Your little job, your little title,
friend.
your little win, your little team. Like, God, it's so much disrespect behind that little.
You got any more hate you want to get off your heart before we wrap up?
No, but if I do, I'll put it in the comments.
Hey, I like it.
I feel it.
Never change.